public law expert, believes that the impeachment of judges John Hlophe and Nkola Motata will strengthen South Africa's constitutional democracy. Hlophe is accused of trying to influence Constitutional Court justices. This is to rule in favor of former President Jacob Zuma. Motata is convicted for drunken driving after crashing his car into Johannesburg home 16 years ago. The University of Cape Town's Professor Hugh joins us tonight. Hugh, good evening. Thank you so much for your time. I mean, just looking at these examples, they will be young children who are in grade 9, grade 10, who would have gone through an entire period of primary school and now in secondary school, and yet we still have no resolution on the matters around these two judges.
Yeah. I thank you very much, Kathy, and let me say that this is not a cause for celebration. The impeachment of a judge, just like the impeachment of a public protector, it has tragic elements to it. And I'm trying to take as much positive from these two incidents as is possible. You have rightly said that Justice Motata did his drunk driving back in 2007, was convicted criminally, appealed, that failed, etc., etc. Judge Hlophe interfered or attempted to interfere with the administration of justice in the Constitutional Court on the 30th of May 2008. And the point for me is the following. The judiciary is not popularly elected in this country, and rightly so. They don't enjoy, therefore, a popular support base. So what is crucial for them is that they enjoy legitimacy in the mind of the public, and they have to be trusted. And if you have two judges who have been found to have been guilty of gross misconduct, as both of these judges have, through a special process called a Judicial Conduct Tribunal. In Motata's case 5 years ago, in President Hlophe's case 2 years ago, we have to ensure that the courts are trusted and the judiciary as a whole does not have as part of its membership people who have done what these judges have been found guilty of.
Effectively, the process of removing judges or even heads of Chapter 9 institutions has been uncharted territory, really, up until now. It's not an easy process. Do you think by design it's a good idea that it is as difficult as we have seen in the matter of the public protector, and I suppose in the more extreme example, in the matters of Judge Hlophe and Motata?
I absolutely feel it must be an extraordinarily difficult process to take, although not as difficult as the JSC has made it. Let me just say that. But let me stick with the first point. It must be difficult because judges must be confident of their independence in order to be impartial. But they exercise public power, and therefore they must be held accountable for their actions, where their actions go beyond what is proper for a judge to do. In both these cases, however, the Judicial Service Commission, in its functioning on the accountability side of the judiciary, not on the appointment side, that's a whole other story, but on the accountability side, the JSC functions without the members of Parliament. So what we're talking about now is a body, what's called colloquially the small JSC, which functions without the members of Parliament and is dominated by lawyers, which has taken so long to resolve these issues. It's not been entirely their fault, because both Judge Motata and Judge Hlophe have challenged through litigation in the courts, failing time without number, to postpone this process. But the JSC has, I'm afraid, failed in showing requisite will to see these matters through to conclusion. But they've reached the point where the matters are now before Parliament, and Parliament has given, the Justice Portfolio Committee has given the judges until next Wednesday, the 15th, to make representations. The Portfolio Committee will presumably then consider the matter and choose, as I think that they should, to refer the matter for a vote to the National Assembly, where a two-thirds minimum must be achieved in order to impeach the judges.
Professor Koda, in this instance, of course, the JSC as an institution also holds a great deal of influence, particularly in determining the outcome of these matters. When we look at the trajectory of these cases, it also would seem that depending on the kind of political winds that were blowing at the time, it was either allowing these cases to gain momentum through the JSC, or that, those processes were being slowed down. Is that a cause for concern?
I would, if you understand the word political as you've used it, as non-party political, because
yes.
I want to, but the only person who's a party politician in the small JSC is the Minister of Justice. But it's chaired by the Chief Justice, and there are members of the legal profession. However, all of us, in many ways, in different ways, are political animals with a small p. And I do think that politics has intruded here. More broadly, politics of a refusal, or in many ways, a refusal to see the gross misconduct committed by both these judges, having been found to have been committed by both these judges.
Let's talk about the silver linings that you at least have been trying to draw out of the situation. You believe that if in the end these two judges are impeached, it will strengthen democracy. Why?
Just to repeat, it's not a cause for celebration. No, I believe that it will strengthen democracy because it will show that our Constitution has reached a level of maturity where and one can liken this to a human body and an illness or something like that, where an illness which has manifested itself has to be cured or surgery done to remove something which is a blemish on the face of the Constitution. And for me, that strengthens the Constitution because it shows that it is resilient and yet resolute in getting rid of those aspects of it which are making it function less fully and less effectively than it should.
Does that automatically mean that the opposite will apply if they're not impeached?
Well, I don't know what will inform Parliament's decision-making process. There has been exhaustive judicial process through many ways leading to this point. So Parliament should not be able to question the finding of gross incompetence. But political parties are funny things, and one doesn't know how members of Parliament will ultimately vote and whether a party line will be maintained here and how the party whips will instruct the MPs to vote if indeed the party whip applies.
University of Cape Town's Professor Hugh Koda, thank you for your time.